La 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 la. Hiya!
You're extremely dirty. I'm not sure if you were cleaning beaches or bushes. If we're gonna do the SCHnews, we better look like we're legitimate. 1, 2, 3.
Oof, bro, that's not it.
Let's go. 3,
No,
2,
one more time.
1. Dude, you're looking good.
Not bad yourself.
It's a sick ass spooner I got here.
Pretty sweet Ren, my man.
All right, well, let's get the SCHnews going. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hiya! Welcome to the second episode of the SCHnews. I'm Rafael Bergstrom, Executive Director of Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii, here with
Kahi Pucaro, Director of Parley for the Oceans out here in the Pacific.
Today on the SCHnews, we're going to be talking about plastics legislation locally and globally, and a live report from our town cleanup.
Before we dive into the SCHnews, we're going to be bringing to you the SCHcoop, which is a news segment focusing on what's happened in the environment since our last episode. To start off the SCHcoop, we got some bad news from Sri Lanka. There was a container spill that dumped 25 tons of nitric acid into the ocean, along with 28 containers full of materials, mostly nurdles, that washed ashore, mixed with that nitric acid, and made it so toxic that the locals couldn't even clean it up.
Wait a second, Kai, what's a nurdle?
Oh, well, a nurdle is a pre-production plastic pellet, a tiny little, what we call mermaid's tears, because they would make mermaids cry. It's what plastic starts out with, but they look like fish food, and they're lipophilic when they're in the ocean.
What the heck is lipophilic?
Lipophilic, fat-loving. So in a sense, what it's saying is these pellets, they're made out of plastic, which is made out of oil. Then you've got petrochemicals, which are also petroleum-based. So when they get together, they end up combining and absorbing against each other. So these plastic pellets are kind of like sponges that hold onto these chemicals. So if you're touching them, you get all the chemicals onto your hands.
Disgusting.
Extremely, and dangerous.
And just a good reminder that plastics are made out of fossil fuels. We got to keep repeating that over and over again.
And I think what's even gnarlier is that as these pellets get eaten by fish, the fatty tissues within an animal are also somewhat fatty. So the oil, the chemicals on those materials then go into the fatty tissues and they bioaccumulate up the food chain back to our plates.
That's not good for me.
No, especially if you eat fish. Yes. The Parley team in Sri Lanka, led by SCHne, are ready and on the scene to clean up that spill that happened in Sri Lanka. And they're figuring out the way to do it most safely and most effectively in collaboration with the government. So to learn more, stay tuned to the Parley website along with their social media channel.
For some more bad news, unfortunately, we've got a report by the World Economic Forum that's highlighting the fact that plastic is actually heating up beaches, which is not good.
You'd think it would be good because then more people would be in less material.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's a whole lot of things that actually live on our beaches. So we've got hermit crabs and other microorganisms, and when you change temperatures even by a small amount on our beaches, it can cause a whole change in the ecosystem. I think you've got some ideas about what it might do to turtles.
Oh, yeah. So I think the temperature of the sand dictates whether a turtle egg will be a male or female.
You think about the beaches in Hawaii, and our windward beaches are covered in plastic. So we have to think about all of the ecological problems that that's causing, not to mention what one of our lead scientists and volunteers, Sarah Jean Royer, discovered is that plastics are also releasing methane when they sit on the beach. So hotness, methane, no good, especially when we're talking about the larger climate change context of plastics.
And another bad, let's just make sure that this is bad, is the fact that they're now saying that they can take plastics and break it down and make a vanilla extract.
Oh, sweet.
No, bro. It's not actually gonna taste like
It doesn't
vanilla.
taste anything like vanilla.
It tastes like what?
Tastes like dirt and plastic.
You know the danger about them making a vanilla extract out of plastic, because they're gonna be putting the beavers out of business.
Tell me more about the beavers. I think it has something to do with beaver butts.
Yeah, the beaver anal gland also is one of the ways that they extract the vanilla flavor. We have to be careful of all these solutions that get pushed out to us saying, we've got a solution to the plastic problem. Do you really think it's safe to go ahead and take plastics and then convert it into a vanilla extract?
Absolutely not. And it's pretty amazing to see the lines of commentary that are coming out on this, as you said, as a solution to the plastic pollution problem. No, please don't eat plastic.
Why do they come up with solutions like this where they're like, hey, here's another quick solution to the plastics problem?
Because they want to keep producing plastics. And by they, I mean the petrochemical industry, the oil industry. They want excuses to keep producing plastics so that we think that we have something to do with it on the back end when it becomes pollution.
And they're investing not only in technologies, they're investing in universities, in companies, and other nefarious activities to come up with the next solution that's going to allow them to keep doing what they're doing.
Shocking, Kahi. Like, why wouldn't they invest in just stopping plastic and coming up with the alternatives, or investing in reuse? Kahi, what's the good scoop?
Well, the good scoop starts exactly where we started the bad scoop, and that's just south of India, and we're talking about the Maldives. The good scoop is that the Maldives is banning all single-use plastics by 2023.
That's amazing.
The Maldives imports pretty much everything they consume, and they're using on average 6 pounds of single-use plastics per person every single day.
I heard they have a big trash island.
Yeah, it's an island called Tilafushi, and it's a place you never want to go.
So what is this bill? What was the estimates that it would reduce from 6 pounds per person to?
Probably less than half a pound per person created every single day.
That's amazing.
It's a huge step in the right direction, and if an entire country can do it, one little state like Hawaii can definitely do it.
That's where I was going next. If places like that can do it, then not even Hawaii, the whole United States can do it.
Not even the United States, the whole world.
For some more good scoop, there's some big changes happening within the boards of the culprits. So Exxon was just named one of the largest producers of plastic in the world, and they're being infiltrated by environmentalists, apparently.
And how are they doing that?
Well, it's actually kind of funny because it's Wall Street investors that have decided that as the shareholders for Exxon, they are trying to make sure that some of their board members are concerned with climate change and renewable energies, and have managed to get 3 new board members onto Exxon who have, at least we hope, more interest in working on these bigger issues and reducing our use in fossil fuels.
Oh, that's really cool, because I guess in the long term, what these board members are seeing is that the long-term sustainability of a business has to focus on reducing their reliance on fossil fuels.
Absolutely. I mean, it's big. It's like having a CEO from Pepsi, Coke, and Nestle sitting on the board of Sustainable Coastlines.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's exact opposite.
Exactly.
Having a board member that actually cares for the environment kind of switches the narrative, because so many times they have this fiduciary responsibility for short-term returns. But these short-term returns are extremely volatile. And so if they can put a more long-term growth status into their business model, they end up becoming a better business. And the board member actually has a more fiduciary responsibility ethos than others would think.
Ultimately, Kahi, there's no returns on a dead planet.
100% those deep. Ralph, let me get another scoop with some good news.
Absolutely. There's some good news coming out of the National Wildlife Refuge in the Arctic. Biden is suspending all the federal drilling leases that our former president had tried to open up to let anybody drill oil in Alaska.
Well, it's a good thing we're stopping that drilling. Hopefully it increases demand on renewable energy, but there's got to be even more to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, absolutely. As we continue to say, plastic's made out of fossil fuels, so we stop drilling for those fossil fuels, hopefully less plastic. And I think we're going to make some polar bears stoked too.
I hope so.
Yeah, they need a break.
No, they don't need a break, because then that means their ice is breaking, dog.
That's it for our first scoop segment. If you want to find out more on these stories, go to our website at sustainablecoastlineshawaii.org, and you can dive into the details and find links to any of these.
And now, just a quick update on what's happening with SCH.
Well, Kahi, today is our annual town cleanup, and we're doing something a little bit different this year. We're cleaning in 3 locations from Malka to Mackay. So we've got Pololo Stream, the Alawai, and Magic Island. And the reason for that is we're trying to tell the story that most of the stuff that ends up in the ocean actually starts up here with us, in our homes, on our streets, flowing down into the ocean. And the more that we connect what we're doing with what ends up in the ocean, the better chance we have of solving the problem.
So you guys are, in a sense, intercepting it before it gets into the ocean, therefore making it a much more proactive solution to keeping plastics out of our oceans.
Exactly, Kahi. 80% of what ends up in the ocean is land-based debris or single-use plastics. So we're doing our part to stop it before it starts. And yeah, let's go to our correspondent in the field to tell us a little bit more about what's going on down there.
Hey, good morning, guys. This is Tristan Cummins reporting from Magic Island today. We're doing our town beach cleanup, our annual town beach cleanup. We've got a big crowd that came out today. We got a crew set up over here with tents. Everybody's fanned out, cleaning all over the Magic Island and Ala Moana Beach Park area. We're excited to be here today. We got cleaners going from Mauka to Makai today, hitting all sections of the Ahupua'a system. And we're stoked that we're spread out. We've coordinated a great team effort here today. We're gonna check in with some of our other team members. Be right back.
All right, well, I hope Tristan has his running shoes on. Let's let him run his okole up to the next spot. And while we're at it, why are we choosing to do so many spots in one cleanup?
Well, Kahi, we're cleaning down at the bottom of the Ahupua'a of Waikiki because it's actually where all of these watersheds within the Waikiki area flow down from the streams into the Alawai Canal and then directly out into Bulls, into the harbor, creating a nasty mess. So we're gonna see what's down at the bottom and figure out what's up top later.
So whatever we remove would have eventually made its way out into the ocean, through the lineup at Bulls and out into the Pacific Gyre, or to the bottom of the ocean.
Exactly. I think we've probably given that guy Tristan enough time to make it to the Alawai. Should we check in with him?
Hey Tristan, you ready?
We're over here at the Alawai location of today's town cleanup. I'm here with Corps volunteer Madison. Madison, how did it go today?
Today was so fun. It was a great turnout, a lot of beautiful faces, and a lot of trash. We've got at least 500 pounds behind us, and this is our second load, so we're pretty excited to see what we collected and the data we've got.
That's a lot of trash, Madison. That's a lot of trash coming out of the dirty Alawai. We're on to our next location. Check in with you guys in a sec.
Oh, damn. That was a great turnout there at the Alawai, Tristan, Madison. Thanks for covering that. And while you're on your way to your next one, let's talk a little bit more about the Ahupua'a. You grew up here, Kahi. Tell us in detail a little bit about what is the Ahupua'a.
Well, the Ahupua'a is kind of broken into two words, Ahu and Pua'a. Pua'a is pig and Ahu is kind of like the altar. And it more or less was the place to give honor to the land area that you were visiting. And for this island, and pretty much every single island, Ahupua'as were from the top of the mountain out to past the fringe reef. And it was a matter of protecting the entire Ahupua'a by realizing they were all interconnected. And if you did it properly, you could sustain your community, but also successfully trade with your Ahupua'as around not just your island, but potentially your neighbor islands as well.
Awesome. I love that. It's not just about the land itself. It's about the people on the land and how they interact up and down throughout that area. And it can be good, it can be bad, but it's our mission is to figure out how to reconnect some of those interactions.
And in addition, I'm not sure if you noticed, totally related, I don't think Tristan even had one bead of sweat coming off of him after all that running.
We'll see if that holds true when he gets to Kaimuki.
And we're back. We're checking in today. We're at Chaminade. We're with one of our staff members, Marissa. She's going to fill us in on how it went in the stream portion of today's cleanup.
Yeah, we collected a lot of trash today. We're sorting through it all, sorting out high five for recycling, metals for recycling, and then a couple different items of interest related to Bill 40, single-use plastics that we're trying to eliminate from the restaurants here. So we're just kind of tracking how much we find so that in the future we can see if it got reduced based on the legislation that was passed.
That's beautiful. Important data that we're collecting for Bill 40. We want to keep that data coming in and basically back up the legislation.
Yep.
Very good. Back to you guys at the SCHnews desk.
Kahi, last time we talked about the launch of the Parley air station. Quick update for us. How many people have come through and been educated at that space?
Lots of people have come through, but of the people that have actually signed in and actually gone to some of the presentations that are given by Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii, by Parley for the Oceans, by Zero Waste Oahu, or from Changing Tides Foundation, we just reached 2,850 people, and that's 2 months in. The Parley Air Station is Parley's collaborative hub that brings together the community to co-create solutions surrounding plastic pollution and climate change. And it's open daily from Wednesday through Sunday at the Bishop Museum. And in addition, every second Friday, we're out there for a sunset session featuring live music, guest speakers, education, fun for the kids, and just an overall good time.
Sounds like a great place.
It is. Well, that was a lot to cover in episode 2 of the SCHnews. How about you give them a little teaser of what's to come in episode 3?
Yeah, Kahi, we've got so much more to come. I mean, we're talking about this on a local level, but there's a lot bigger stuff happening on the global level, and we're going to dive deep into the plastics industry, the chemical industry that's behind it, but then again come back to some of the larger opportunities like the Break Free from Plastics Act that's going on. What are our senators here in Hawaii doing on the national stage to stop plastic pollution and really combat some of these big oil producers and chemical producers of plastic? All right, everybody, thanks for watching the second episode of the SCHnews. I'm Rafael Bergstrom.
And I'm Kahi Picaro.
Don't forget, you can either snooze
Or you can sneeze!